Welcome back, everybody, to the Renaissance Humanism podcast. Today's episode, I will be discussing the fentanyl crisis that is currently raging in America and terrifying Americans. 170,000 people in America have died due to the fentanyl crisis. The drug overdoses since 2022. Enough people to fill the McCain Stadium, the largest stadium in North America. Of these people recorded in the statistics, 107,000 of these deaths, 70,000 of them was due to fentanyl. The rest was due to drug overdoses and other causes, particularly related to fentanyl or directly to fentanyl. The fentanyl crisis is the most significant health threat facing the United States. It is a crisis growing out of control, linked to multiple factors such as the overprescription of fentanyl or pain relief medication, modern technologies such as social media affecting people's ability to communicate and to experience other people, live with other people, and more human connection through the effects of modern living. Here's a definition of fentanyl. It also can be done or spelled as fentanyl. That's Fentanyl. It's a highly potent synthetic pyridine octopioid drug. Prime use an analgesic because fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. Primary clinical utilized in pain relief medication management for cancer patients and those recovering from painful surgical operations. I will leave a link in the comment section, in the comments and in the actual video. You can actually click on the article I've written about fentanyl, so you can have a read of this yourself as well. According to the article published by Reuters, that's Reuters, data from the US Center for Disease and Control and Prevention shows that fentanyl-related deaths from drug overdose increased from 5.7 per 100,000 people in 2016 to 21.6 per 100,000 in 2021. The crisis is again so severe that during Joe Biden's State of the Union address to Congress, he stated that the Republicans and Democrats united in their support for ending the fentanyl crisis, with the president getting a standing ovation. Here is a transcript of what President Biden actually said. So let's launch a major search to stop fentanyl production in sales and trafficking. More drug inspection machines inspecting cargoes at the border. My apologies if I didn't get Joe Biden's words directly correct. It is because, due to his deteriorating mental condition, most likely allegedly Alzheimer's, his actual speech is actually hard to actually understand when he's speaking. Just because chances are he has got Alzheimer's. I've got all relatives myself. I've seen this happen. Uh, People have dementia and stuff, so he does sound a bit. His actual speech and what he's saying is actually hard to understand. So you have to actually read a transcript of this as well. But just, as I said, if you go online, go on YouTube, go on a news website, you'll be able to get a full transcript of his speech as well. It just is very hard to understand. Okay, the origins of the fentanyl crisis. Fentanyl was first created in 1959 by Dr. Paul Jason. It was initially marketed as an analgesic drug under multiple formats such as a patch, lollipops, or a spray. The first case of drug overdoses using fentanyl at the beginning of the crisis were discovered by the Drug Enforcement Agency, or DEA, in the early 1990s, setting in Wichita, Kansas, and has been growing ever since within the United States for over 30 years. In the early 2000s and in 2025, American police forces and other law enforcement agencies started cracking down on manufacturing of fentanyl and its illegal drug use. Unfortunately, they also discovered that the drugs are coming from Mexico and China. The DA says that the powerful Jalisco and Sinaloa cartel smugglers are the ones responsible for actually bringing the drugs inside to the United States. Additionally, China and the Mexicans, the President Biden administration, they're responsible for this as well. It's impractical for the United States to build a wall across its border with Mexico. It's 954 miles long, or 3,135 kilometers long. The border between Mexico and the United States traverses multiple terrains, including urban areas and deserts, and also borders the Gulf of Mexico to El Paso, Texas, followed the Rio Grande, form a natural barrier, and because these natural barriers, it's actually impractical to build a border wall. And also, American don't have the budget or the resources to actually man that wall as well. Like the Great Wall of China, the Great Wall of China never worked because the Chinese never had enough people to actually man the wall. Same like this in the United States, America's don't have enough people to man the Great Wall of America. Donald Trump say he wants to build. What it means that there needs to be a political settlement with Mexico that destroys the cartels. If the situation has deteriorated too much within Mexico, the United States might need to consider military action or the incorporation of Mexico into the American Union, can either through a referendum or do political means, some kind of political means, or worst case scenario, some kind of military means. But that seems like a scenario. I do see a solution for this is to incorporate the Mexicans into the United States of America. Overdose victims have also risen for over 20 years as well, with the fentanyl being the key reason for this. Currently, almost 70% of all fatalities within the United States are due to the use of fentanyl, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Another shattering fact is that fentanyl is behind 80% of deaths of 15 to 24-year-olds in America. It's damaging Americans' youth. Currently, of me using this podcast, fentanyl has killed 5 times as many Americans who have died fighting in the Vietnam War. Fentanyl rate for people actually overdose on the drug, taking the drug, is actually at 70% of Americans dying who actually take the drugs and overdose from it. It makes up 30% of legal drug use as well in the United States. But the reason why this death is so big is because of the size of the fatality rate at 70%. The reason why fentanyl is becoming more widespread is because of how potent the drug is. 1 kilogram of fentanyl can create 1 million counterfeit pills that could be used as other substances as well, or advertised other hallucinogens. It is even described as oxycodone, a painkiller medication, which does not need a prescription. It creates a chance of people becoming addicted to fentanyl. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, the increase in fentanyl use reflects the potency of this substance and its low cost, which gives trafficking strong incentives to mix fentanyl with other drugs or narcotics within American states and streets. The production process of fentanyl is also requires specialized equipment as well. Hope you liked today's episode. If you've got any questions, please leave it in the comment. And thank you for your time and peace out.